Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
The Eagles win 22-14 at the Link against the Chicago Bears for a 5-4 record going into the bye. This game was very frustrating. Let's be real. There were moments where, as a fan base, we thought we were going to blow the 19-0 lead that we had early in the third quarter. It had that feel to it. Very similar to last season when we blew it to the Panthers, when we blew a big lead to the Tennessee Titans. It had that type of feel inside our stomachs, but they found a way, and the fourth quarter came along, and the Eagles put together a spectacular drive where they converted on third down consistently, finished off the game. Carson Wentz delivered, and we will get into how great that drive really was as we discuss this game fully. But at the end of the day, 5-4 is a big-time difference compared to a 4-5 record going into the break. It was a big win. It was a much-needed win. The Bears have fallen apart completely. Their head coach is lost. Their quarterback is lost. But I don't give a damn about the Bears. I care about the Eagles and the fact that they found a way to win the football game. Before we dive into this game more, though, just remember, if you use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page, you will receive $20 off of your total purchase. So make sure you use it and get yourself to a game. There were some players in the lineup that haven't been in the lineup as of recent times. One being Alshon Jackson, and you can argue he wasn't even really in the lineup today, and the Eagles messed this up big time. Shocker. He plays for one drive, and then he's finished. He doesn't feel right. Some of the beat reporters are trying to say that it was an equipment malfunction. No. He didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right. And there was no reason to put him in the game if that's the production you were going to get out of him. That was pathetic. The Alshon Jackson move today, pathetic. And it's embarrassing. It really is. Avonte Maddox back in the mix. He made some plays out there. Tim Jernigan, Darren Sproles. So we are finally getting healthy and seeing some players return to the lineup, which is huge. By the way, Sidney Jones, a healthy scratch. Let that sink in. A healthy scratch. He stinks and they know it. All right, so the first half. The Eagles dominated. The Bears had their first down in the last minute of the first half. They had 1 passing yard, 9 total yards. They were a dumpster fire in the first half. The Eagles put together some long drives, but guess what? They stalled when they needed to come up clutch and get in the end zone. They stalled because Doug Pederson tried all these different plays that I didn't like. They were too slow developing. There was bad execution. Why not run the ball in some of these situations? I thought Doug Pederson had a pathetic day play calling at times, and specifically early in these games where we were actually putting together nice drives, but when it came down to finishing the job and getting 7 points, we weren't capable of doing that. It led to 2 field goals. So it's 6-0 when it can be 14-0. And I don't think Doug put the team in the best position to score once we got down in the Bears' territory. The Bears helped us out, though. They were off sides left and right. I don't know what they were doing, being way too aggressive. Maybe they thought they needed to make that big play, knowing the offense can't move the football at all. So they were getting antsy. They were anticipating things. I don't know, but they were consistently going off sides, and it helped the Eagles put drives together. There was 1 4th-and-1 play, and it ended up getting thrown to Mac Hollins. It looked like such an odd play. But Carson Wentz gets hit with a roughing the passer call that allowed Zach Ertz to get open on that drive. Later on in that drive, it was an offensive pass interference that did not get called. He got his hand right to the face, but it resulted in a touchdown for a 12-0 lead because Jake Elliott missed the extra point. So it was 12-0 at the half. The D-line was getting in the mix. There was pressure involved. Brandon Graham got in the mix. Malcolm Jenkins and Avery as well getting pressure on the quarterback. The Eagles were getting to Mitch Tribusky, and he was uncomfortable as hell. I thought the D-line would be able to win that battle. I might have expected them to get more than 3 sacks, I will say that. But not terrible. They were able to get to Mitch Tribusky in the first half. Here's the second half. Started out fantastic, actually. A drive was put together by the Eagles, very similar to what we saw earlier on. Ertz converted on a third down, then Ertz with a one-handed catch. He also got hit out of bounds by Eddie Jackson, which allowed the drive to continue. So there's another penalty that I'm talking about with the Bears defense. The Eagles end up cashing in. Jordan Howard runs it in the end zone, and a beautiful block by Brandon Brooks. It's so hard to think about what he's really doing, coming back from the Achilles, starting this season off and being a legit threat with that offensive line. But Brooks with a huge block, and that opened up the C there for Jordan Howard to get in the end zone, 19-0. And from that moment, it seemed like the Eagles just took their foot off the gas. Doug Pederson stopped running the football as much as we were, and it's so obvious that when this team runs the rock, when they run the ball, they are dominant. They're so hard to stop. But for some reason, Doug Pederson wants to get pass happy and drop Carson Wentz back. And, it's so frustrating at times. From that moment, the Eagles took their foot off the gas and allowed the Bears to come back in the game. This is why we are frustrated as a fan base. This game should have never gotten to the point of 19-14. There's no way. You turn those field goals into touchdowns in the first half. You find ways to keep the offense going. It should have been a blowout, a legit blowout. But no, Gabriel gets behind the Eagles' defense. Mitch Tribusky with a bomb. It looks like Malcolm Jenkins bites on a play. I'd have to relook at the tape later on once the All-22 comes out to see exactly what went down. But from my first initial reaction, it looks like Malcolm Jenkins with the wrong read. Gabriel gets the 53-yard pass. Montgomery ends up running the touchdown in eventually, and it's now 19-7. Alshon Jeffery misses a first down because he drops the football, and then Mitch Tribusky takes a shot downfield to Allen Robinson, and Jalen Mills gets his hand on it, breaks it up, but it was so close, and realistically it should have been converted. Mills did keep his hand involved enough to interfere with the ball, but Allen Robinson should have came down with that, and it was obvious that the Bears were going to take shots. The DBs for the Eagles are nothing crazy, all right? They're not elite. Take shots downfield. They hit on the one on Gabriel. They should have had that second one with Allen Robinson. It does not work, essentially, but the Bears do score a touchdown anyway with Montgomery once again. Some broken coverage with the Eagles' defense, which allows their drive to continue to go. And now it's 19-14 all of a sudden. It just can't happen. To a team that can't move the football at all, to an embarrassing offense. If we were playing a team that was serious and actually knew what they were doing, we would have got our asses kicked. That's why it bothers me, because I know down the road when you play good teams in bigger moments, that stuff just can't happen. By the way, I mentioned Alshon Jeffery missing a pass, dropping a ball. That was his second of the game. He missed a 3rd and 22 that was a dot from Carson Wentz, and he's just bobbling it and not coming down with it. Is it a lack of focus? Is he really falling to that degree in terms of his skill level? Has he dropped that much? No pun intended? I don't understand. But then Alshon drops his 3rd pass of the night on a 3rd down. And it was so frustrating to watch. How? This is Mr. Reliable. Him and Zach Ertz, Mr. Reliable. And now Carson Wentz can't trust him? So Mac Hollins, Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffery. How? Who do you trust? Zach Ertz, I guess, and Zach Ertz had over 100 yards and 9 receptions. Finally, we saw the man get going in this offense. Finally, we put together a game plan where he was used and he was abusing the other team's defense. He was a weapon all night long for Carson, and that's the Zach Ertz we need to see consistently. In the 4th quarter, though, the Eagles put together this drive that, at the end of the day, finished the ball game. They converted on a 3rd and 3 to Alshon, so for all the drop passes on third downs, he did come up big in the fourth quarter with one. Miles Sanders on a 3rd and 13, a nice little dump-off pass, and he gets the first down. That was after an Eagles penalty. Ertz, a 3rd and 3 conversion. Dallas Goedert, a 3rd and 9 conversion. Carson Wentz was delivering late in the fourth quarter, putting together a drive that burned the clock down and used all of the Bears' timeouts. So for the people who say that Carson Wentz can't deliver late, that's delivering late. It is. It's finishing a ball game. It's milking the clock, using the other team's timeouts, and moving downfield. We end up kicking the field goal, making it an 8-point game, and there was a late turnover on the kickoff, which really meant nothing because there wasn't enough clock left anyway. But Carson Wentz and the offense did deliver late. As frustrating as it was throughout the game, late they did it. Now, I want to talk about Carson because I don't think it was the greatest game in the world out of him. There's some things that he needs to work on. There was a play early in the game. There was an offsides call on the Bears. So he had a free play. What would Aaron Rodgers do on a free play? He would chuck it downfield and just let something happen. Let a playmaker make a play. No, we don't have playmakers, but you know what I'm saying. You throw it downfield, you try and make something happen because who cares if it gets intercepted? Who cares if the Bears make a play? Well, what he did was he threw it out of bounds. So I want to see Carson realize that there was a flag on the play. Realize he gets a free shot at it. Throw it up. See what happens. He needs to see that happen. But there were a couple deeper balls that he missed on too that bothered me. One was the Alshon on the right sideline. There was one with Sproles over the middle, and it was a little bit out of reach for Darren Sproles. This was on third down, but if he hit him in stride, there was so much open field with that man-to-man coverage where he could have made something happen. So a couple plays where he just needs to dial in a little bit more and make a little bit better of a throw so this team can really put together a little bit more plays. Wentz finished with 239 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. But all around, I don't think the offensive line had a bad day. Considering Khalil Mack. I know they're banged up, but considering Khalil Mack is a big-time factor and the Eagles have a rookie left tackle thrown in the mix, I didn't think they had a bad day. Even though they allowed 4 sacks. You pound the rock, you move the football, you're going to win the trenches if you're having that much success with running the ball like we did. Jordan Howard, 19 carries, 82 yards. The dude is unbelievable and has a motor like no other. He just moves those legs, moves the pile, gains yards, always falling forward. It's insane. It really is. Dougie P, though, lost the run at times, and that's something that has to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. I don't get why he gets so pass-happy all the time. I just don't get it. You see the team succeed when the ball is being ran. No turnovers. None. One thing the Bears defense, one thing that they do is they create turnovers. They score off those turnovers. And that's something I stated in my preview video that we can't do. We can't turn the ball over to this defense. Well, the Eagles didn't, and that played a big-time factor. The Eagles got the one, like I said, on that late kickoff where the game was essentially over anyway. I thought they could have had another. Rasul Douglas had a play where I think he could have had a pick 6. He swatted the ball out of bounds. He almost missed the swat. Why don't you go up and grab it? I mean, I understand why cornerbacks are cornerbacks because they don't have hands. If they did have hands, they would be wide receivers. That's what the knock on DBs are. But you got to go up and get that football. You do. It's right there. Why are you swatting it out of bounds? Go up and grab it. And there was another play where I thought someone should have went up and grabbed it, and it was Nelson Aguilar. There was a ball that Carson threw on the left sideline. Now, it wasn't the best thrown ball in the world, but Nelson Aguilar is being I wouldn't say held by the DB. They were both holding each other, one of those hand fighting things. But instead of turning around, trying to use his body and box out the cornerback, he just throws his hands up with his head still facing the wrong way. He didn't turn. He didn't move his body to adjust to try and catch the football. He just threw his hands up with his back still facing Carson Wentz. Come on, right? I mean, use your body, use your brain. Nelson Aguilar has no sense of anything anymore. I mean, if he ever had it to begin with. Well, I guess he did have the big Super Bowl game and the Super Bowl run, but that's the outlier season for the guy. So for my initial reaction, I'm happy we're 5-4 because that's big going into the bye. I'm confused about the Deshaun Jackson thing. I'm confused about Doug Pederson's play call, but I love the fact that late the franchise quarterback delivered on 4 third downs. And this isn't some crap defense they did it on. That defense had some rhythm at that point because they were keeping the Bears in the game. They were getting the football back, stopping the Eagles' offense. So it's not like we were going up against the Miami Dolphins and converting on third downs. No, this team put together consistent third downs. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, another 3rd and 3. Like, these were legit good plays late that the team was making. And it finished the game. They went in there and finished the game on that drive. So as frustrating as it was, you do need to tip your cap to the squad and say you did it late when needed. You got to clean things up. You have to. But a win is a win. I feel bad for the Bears. You lose 4 straight. Mitch Trubisky's a bum. What are they going to do? They moved up in the draft to get this guy. But once again, I don't care too much about the Bears. But I feel bad for them. What are they going to do? How did things change so quickly? Matt Nagy, these offensive plays and the creativity is unbelievable. This defense is elite. Like, that's what the storyline was last year. And now you come in this year, you don't even have a quarterback anymore. Your head coach looks dumb. It's wild how quickly things change in the NFL and how year to year it is. And that's why I always say this. That's why I respect the hell out of the New England Patriots. Say what you want about them. What they're doing will never happen again in sports. So embrace it. Last thing here. The jersey I'm rocking right now, the Fletcher Cox Black J. How about the blackout? Now, I will be honest. I was not a big fan of the blackout for a 1 o'clock afternoon game. That is an 8:25 Sunday night game against the Dallas Cowboys type thing. That could be a Monday night game thing. That could be a Thursday night game thing. I do not like the blackout at 1 o'clock. I like the all-whites. I'm a huge fan of the all-whites. Or you go green. 1 o'clock is not a blackout type game. They got the job done. They won the football game. Who am I to judge? But my personal opinion here, I would never go blackout in the afternoon. But you can argue maybe the black was for the funeral of the Bears because they lost another one in a row. And with that division the way it's going, yeah, good luck. Looks like the season might be over at 3-5. There's time now to regroup. I know 5-4 is not where we thought the Eagles would be earlier in the season, before the season even started. After 9 games, where would the Eagles be? 5-4? You'd be looked at nuts if you said 5-4. But considering where things were, injuries, the drama in the locker room, 5-4 is not too bad. We're still in reach with the Dallas Cowboys. We have to see what they do against the Giants on Monday night. But we are still in reach for the division. We got to regroup, get healthy, and move forward as a football team. Clean some things up. But it scares me a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be cleaning things up. This just might be what the football team is. I always say that. Oh, we got to do this. We got to clean things up. But it's consistent stuff, right? Doug Pederson and the run game and getting pass happy and receivers dropping balls left and right. Is that just what this football team is? It's mind-blowing that someone like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can't get on the field. They say he's the backup to Alshon Jeffery, and that's all he can do. So until Alshon Jeffery's out, he's not going to be playing. That's concerning, no? That this guy can't play anything else? He had some snaps in the football game. But still, like with Mac Hollins and, you can't get yourself on the field? It's the same conversation every single week with these receivers. And to have Alshon in the mix, too. What happened to this guy? Now, he made the 3rd and 3 catch in the fourth quarter when needed, but 3 drops, 3rd downs to keep drives alive. Your go-to guy between him and Zach Ertz, they're both your go-to guys. That's bad. That is bad. Time to relax, though. They can regroup physically. This is the perfect time for a bye week. I think you never want to have it early. You don't want to have it too late, although I'd rather have it too late than too early. This is right in the middle. This is a juicy part of the season. You can get guys back, and we'll see what goes on moving forward for this football team. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I will see you next time.